going to review one of Brad's beers. So I'm going to let him tell you about it while I do the pouring.
Okay. So this is the Trappist Citra IPA. This is pretty much a test. Carb sounds good.
Sounds very good.
This was bottled on 10/11.
Okay.
So 2 weeks from us shooting this video. I'm not going to say a whole bunch up front because I want Steve to taste it and let me know what he thinks. Then we'll get into a lot. If anybody remembers, the Trappist yeast is the Belgium yeast I used in the brown Belgium ale I made. So I did a yeast harvest, and that's how I got this yeast. So we'll smell it and do all that, then taste it, then we'll talk more, and I'll talk more, I should say.
That smells good. Wow. That's actually really good.
Weird taste.
It is, but the Citra is like really there. I mean, how much did you use?
A truckload.
Okay. That explains a lot.
So Galaxy, I used an ounce of Galaxy at 60 minutes, so start a boil. Then an ounce at 15 minutes of Citra, an ounce at 10 minutes of Citra, an ounce at 5 minutes of Citra, an ounce at flame out.
Jeez, OP.
Then I let it sit for, I think it was a week. Then I used 2 ounces to dry hop.
Jesus. So this beer costs like $80. So what was your base grain? What do we have in here? Is this Mars Otter?
Yep.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Well, what I can tell by the Trappist yeast is that, and if you've ever had a Chimay or any kind of Belgian ale, it dissipates really fast. Like you drink it, it's good, it's crisp, and then it's like gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it will sneak up on you because they usually have them at 8, 9, 10%, and you're like, no, there's not much to this, and then all of a sudden you're feeling it. This, on the other hand, the malt disappears right away. So that's why I had to ask, and the color threw me off. I can't tell what the malt is because the malt disappears, but the hop bitterness is still there.
Yep, still
It did not dissipate with, and now that you tell me how much you put in there, I kind of figured that would not disappear. Overall, though, I like it.
I like it too.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're okay. I guarantee if you use that yeast, though, with just a pale malt, and then you throw in some candied sugar or something to bring that alcohol level up, I mean, you get a really light beer that's 8, 9%.
Yep.
Like, really good. But you got to age it a while.
Right.
This will age well, actually.
Well, I think that obviously we know with an IPA or a Citra like this, the hop level is going to go down after a month and a half. It's going to start fading off or balancing out.
Yeah.
But let's get into the heart of this thing. Okay? So mine's kind of cloudy because I got the bottom. But
sorry about that. I tried really hard not to.
But so the first thing is I was trying to make a black Citra Trappist IPA.
Okay.
So I used a half pound of dark malt, which I used, if anybody remembers, my Darth Vader, my black IPA. That's all that was in there is half a pound. This I wouldn't call dark. I would call brown.
Yeah, it is. But it threw me off enough that, I mean, you can't tell it's Mars Otter, and we both really like that Mars Otter.
Right.
That's one of our favorites. But no, it's a good beer. It'll be interesting to see how this ages.
Yes.
I want to see how long from now until whenever the last bottle is that the IPA or the hop level kind of dips.
Yep,
I want to see if is it drastic or is it just gradual.
So the next thing, the yeast. So this is, I've got a lot of, I guess, guesses that I'm going to say about this. So right off the bat, so I took a mason jar full of yeast, and that I dumped it in there. I put it out the morning that I was brewing, and when it was time to dump the yeast, I dumped the whole thing in there. No starter, nothing like that. I dumped it all in there, and it took off. And if you watch the video for it, it bubbled and just kept going for 4 days, then nothing. And again, this was a test. I did take a gravity reading.
Oh, yeah?
And I said, this is a test. I want to see what yeast storage does throughout the process. Yes, I could have went and got US-05, which is a neutral yeast, and brought it back down, but I didn't. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to see what this would do. So, it's very carved.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm burping a little bit, too.
So, I let it go. I transferred it. I put the hops on it. In the end, so I started at 1.075. I hit my pre-boil, I hit my original gravity, I hit both of them.
Okay.
So that was completely correct, I would say.
Okay.
In the end, once the primary was done, once the secondary was done, my final gravity was 1.055. So, it makes this a 2.91% beer.
Really? What happened?
My guess is I need to make a starter.
Yeah.
A 2-liter starter, a big starter, because my gravity was so high, 1.075, I needed a bigger starter than what was in that mason jar, and that's what it took it down 20 points.
Yeah,
no. Yeah, 20 points overall.
Not a lot.
Yep.
No, you're probably right too. And that's, I think, next year when we get back into the brewing season, you're going to see us use a lot more starters.
Right.
I don't know about your brewing season, but mine, I overshot because I was still trying to dial in my equipment. I overshot my original gravity quite a bit.
Right.
And I ended up with great beers, but I had a couple stall out, like you did too.
Yep.
Right around the 1.020, which is still not a finished beer. You really want to get them down to 0.015 to 1.0.
0.008.
Yeah,
somewhere in there.
I mean, depending on how dry you want.
Yep.
But no, that's
but
weird. I would have never guessed.
Yeah, and because you don't taste the sweetness. I don't taste the sweetness of a beer being that high.
No, and that's what's weird is
it's probably all the Citra build up in there.
You might have asked it. Yeah. It'd be interesting. Let's age it a while.
But it doesn't seem like a 2.91% beer at all.
No, it doesn't. And it's definitely a good beer. I would never have guessed that it was that low.
Right. So, but we'll let it go. I obviously missed on a lot of points. The color, because I wanted it black, just to, play around with it.
I mean, I can't see through it, so it is a darker brown.
Right. But I wanted black. But, so that just goes to show you, maybe we'll see in the future a yeast starter needs to be done. Yeah. And they really do say for anything over 1.040, make a starter.
Mm-hmm. I've seen it. You can get away with it, I think, up to like 1.060.
Right. Yep.
But after that, they say make a starter, and
yep.
Every beer I've brewed this year has been right above
that.
And
I think one of the beers that we'll review later, my Andy's Mint, is almost the same way, but I think I got away with a lot more. That was down a lot farther. But yeah, for the most part, so far, I love this beer.
It's good.
And the only bad part, it's 2.91, and you could drink the whole case in a day.
I don't know. Look at it that way. I mean, you can have like 8 of these and be good.
So I guess this is 2 weeks in the bottle, so we'll test it in about a month or so, just to see what happens. But we'll go for this, or we'll go from there.
Hey, I'm impressed you had carb level that high.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Good job.
Now, on the carb, if you go back and look at the carb tip video,
right.
I was a little bit under the 5-gallon mark. I did account for everything, but I was still, after the 2 ounces of Citra was put in to the secondary, I was a little bit under, and I still used 5 ounces of sugar. So I'm guessing in the end, if we don't drink these all right away, we will see another beer like that because they'll be overcarbed.
We should hold one off just to see
if
it does.
About 8 months.
Yeah. That might be hard to do, but
so
we'll try.
Okay, so thumbs up if you like our video. Leave a comment if you don't, or if you think we're wrong about something, subscribe. You know, that'll let you know when we're coming out with more videos.
Sure. Let us know what you want to see.
Yep. I'm Brad.
And I'm Steve.
Happy brewing.
See you guys next time.